Oh,
Okay, so it's been a long time coming. Okay, we've been asked to do this multiple times and asked each other to do this multiple times.
Yes.
But here we are, and I think we can make it enough.
Yes, we can make it enough. We can make it enough.
Okay, so we're here with the Make It Enough podcast by Mo and Sheena. All vibes, all sexy vibes about our journey.
I'm finna get ratchet. I don't know what she's talking about, all sexy vibes, but I'm finna crash out at least in 1 or 2 episodes. But I'm glad we're finally here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we met and
Okay.
what made us want to finally do this. I think over the last couple years, we've just been cultivating a friendship and getting closer and learning to really trust each other because unlike many other podcasters, we both already have established brands. We are already friends. We're just not two bitches that got together and was like, we gonna do a podcast, period.
Right.
We're friends. Like, I fuck with you. Like, you my nigga $100,000. Like,
Yeah.
so how did we meet? Tell the story and like, keep it real. Like, what was your first impression of me?
Okay, so for those that don't know, Mo is the one and the two, and she is the first Black nurse influencer ever. Okay, do you hear me? Ever. Okay, so
Don't gas me.
I'm here for all the gas. Originally I was watching you. And I was like, okay, like she doing her thing, okay. And I was like admiring you. And how far are we apart again? Like a year.
A year.
A year. And we both became nurses very young, very young. I mean, I was a nurse at 22 and so were you,
Yeah,
right?
I was a nurse at 23 years old, yeah.
Yeah, so initially I was like watching you, and then when I went viral, because for those out there, I had no intentions on going viral as like a nurse influencer. That was very far from my thought process. I went viral on accident and was like, oh.
And you was
we're
funny
here
as
now.
shit.
Yes, thank you. And so when I got there, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? I was so overwhelmed. I mean, I had so many just like celebrities reaching out to me and people reaching out to me, and I kind of just didn't know what to do. I was very lost in it, and I still kind of don't a little bit. So
Okay.
I reached out to Mo and I was like, hey, like, can you help me? Can you assist me? She reached back out. We started having like a regular like relationship online. And then when she came to Philly to visit, because I'm in Philly at the time, you were in LA. And when she came to Philly and visit, we had we had a session where she coached me. But here was my first impression, and you don't know this because I've never told you this.
Okay.
My first impression of Mo was I was working night shift the night before that we were supposed to meet. And I overslept and I missed our meeting.
Okay. I don't even remember you missing your meeting.
Yes, I missed the meeting. I overslept. And when I woke up, you know how night shift got you.
You'd be like,
oh my God, what happened?
with 37 alarms.
Bitch, and you ain't never worked night shift with, well, yeah, you did.
I've
with Soul.
only worked night
No,
shift.
as with Soul, though. When you work night shift as a mom and you wake up, you be like, oh my God, how'd the kids? How'd your wife? Where the kids at? Is everything okay? So when I woke up, I'm like, oh my God, I missed it. And I didn't want you to think I was selfish. So I text you and I was like, Mo, I'm so sorry. I just woke up. Like, can we make it another day or can I meet you there now? I'm so sorry. And you were just like, it's cool. Anyway, you want to come to another day? I was like, and I felt like, okay, like she my friend for real. Like, I felt like
it's never that deep.
Yeah.
I have like a mantra that is goddesses don't rush. And I just don't think women should be rushing like at
Yeah.
all. We all should extend each other grace.
Yeah.
So I just don't even remember that because I was like, whatever.
Yeah, for you it was like nothing, but I really respect people's time.
Okay.
I really respect people. So I was like, hold on, I don't want her to feel no type of way, and I just didn't want to. I wanted to be able to recover from that moment, but we didn't even have to recover because you were just like, okay.
There was no injury
So
at
my
fault.
first impression was like, oh, she's a girl's girl. Like she with whatever I'm with, and she really actually supports me. And then when we had our session, and it just like all, came together.
Beautiful.
Okay.
My first impression was you were hilarious. And, I never went viral. I built my social media influence over a 10-year span. I didn't know what I was doing when I was building it. I just knew at one point I was like, oh shit, I gotta hire people. Oh shit, I gotta scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta hire Sheed, who's back here. He gotta film a video for me.
Right.
That kind of thing. I knew at some point I was becoming bigger. But it never really was like, oh shit, like, I never felt like I'm famous or anything like that because I wasn't. I still had to pay bills and wipe booty at work and put in rectal tubes and put in Foley's and have Becky be racist towards me at the nursing station. So it was all like whatever. So when I first encountered you, it was, I believe, in 2019 is what or
2020.
It was in 2020, like right before the pandemic really took place. You were, it was when it was starting. And at that time I was deep into spirituality, coaching women in self-love, but also I was helping women with influencer work and like just overall being impactful. And I was really interested in your case because it was like, wow, this woman has a lot of potential. She has a great platform, and I would love to get like my hands on her before she starts getting eaten up by these companies that don't want to pay her value. So I was actually working at Vitality Meditation Studio, which is now Alma Acupuncture in Frankfurt, literally right around the corner. My sister owned that space, and I used to come in town and do yoga workshops, meditation workshops, and I was fighting for my dear life to break myself out of the nurse box because in social media and influence and media, they put you in a category and you are stuck there. And for me, I didn't really want to do that. I had lived in Bali and Nicaragua and like, you know, I was really just like, how the fuck am I about to leave the country before the pandemic really hits? I don't want to go back to work as a nurse. So I was really just hustling in every different direction, but also doing it from a space of wellness. And when I met you, I just really thought you were clueless, and it was so cute. And I was like, oh, she's so dumb.
No.
Like,
Girl, I was like, so I just post and like people pay me? Like, what do you mean? What do they pay me for?
And I don't mean dumb in the sense of like, you're obviously not dumb. You're an educated Black woman as a nurse, but wow, you need to know your value. So my job was to put a battery in your back. You know what I mean? But what I thought was so dope about Sheena was that I refused to take I was charging about $300 for those sessions at the time. And I didn't feel right about taking money because I'm a firm believer that opportunity is way more valuable than money. If y'all don't pick up nothing we put down a day, opportunity is way more valuable than money. And Sheena was an amazing opportunity to me, like to grow, to connect. And also I was like, I got a homie out of this girl. So then you called me in LA and you invited me to a mansion, y'all, in Malibu. Meredith Gray. From Meredith Gray. You invited me to the to Ellen Pompeo's mansion and we like just spent the day together and like spent time with Ellen Pompeo, her kids.
No, we did the podcast for PBS first.
We did the
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, so needless to say, I thought Sheena was dumb.
Don't say dumb. Say ignorant to social media.
I thought Sheena was dumb. And she was not aware of her power.
Okay.
And I was really excited to make her aware of her power.
Okay.
And then but I didn't want money from her. Like I just didn't. I just wanted to help her, like not be dumb because she was a gold mine. So like I wanted to be on the side of she's going to call me when she gets a deal that's $700 and she should be getting paid $7,000, and I wanted to help her with that. I just genuinely wanted to. So then she invites me to be on PBS with Ellen Pompeo and all these other, all these other like huge public figures. She literally created opportunity after opportunity after opportunity for me, and it was a really refreshing relationship because it showed me that my good heart like is reflected back to me. Yeah. And so like I appreciate that. You're a real one. Like we were literally in a Malibu mansion living our lives.
Yes.
During a blackout. Yeah. With, Ellen showing me her flown in from Egypt's marble, and I'm looking at
blankets.
Her Basquiat's, you know what I mean? So I'm like, wow, this is, it just was a really amazing experience to feel like I have this friend. I met this woman and I saw a friend in her, and I saw that I can invest my time and energy to her, and she immediately did it back for me. And even if you didn't, I wouldn't have cared because I was like, she's dope and I like her.
Right.
So that's how we met.
Yeah.
And through that time, like over the years, we just stayed close. Like I got pregnant, moved abroad to Costa Rica. I really went in during that time into my self-love journey, and I really transitioned from the nursing box, really outside of it. I really broke out of that, and it was amazing. And I think I went a little too far, and I'll be honest with that. But I will say that You changed my life when you came to the tropics, and I remember we were dancing to I Ain't Sorry the night after my baby shower. So when I was 10 weeks pregnant, my child's father and I went separate ways, and I was living in Costa Rica, and I hit my friends up, and I was like, I'm going through it. I didn't even say I was going through it. I don't remember, but I just was like, he broke up, we broke up, and I'm done, and I'm going to probably be a single mom. And next thing I know, she was barefoot in the jungle, y'all.
Barefoot in the motherfucking
she was
jungle,
fighting
bitch.
a bat.
Fighting fucking monkeys and shit, bitch.
I'm
a
sorry.
Bitch was fighting for their life. Bitch, why the fuck is it so loud out there? You hear every animal at night. I was scared to death, but it was
soundscapes.
It was the most amazing experience of my life because one, I traveled there solo, so it was a lot to navigate, and then when I got there, it just was very transformative because we're not on the resort, baby. We nowhere near that.
It was literally a bat in my living room.
In the jungle for real. Yep. And then I extended my trip and I stayed.
I remember.
And I think that what's beautiful about our friendship is that there's some people that are in your life for different seasons, and then that's it. Mm-hmm. There's also people that don't know how to feed back into you the way that you feed into them. And I think that that's the difference with us, is that as we change, we keep on finding ways to feed each other.
Do you feel like that with me? I pull back into you because I don't know if I always do, because I just feel like you give so much. Like, do you feel like I pour back into you?
Do you feel like, why do you ask that question?
I don't know, because I think about like our history and, damn, this is about to get deep. I think about our history and it's just like, okay, here you are at my baby, like at my Kundalini ceremony. What the kind of fucking hippie shit was that? But you're at this 100-day ceremony that I came up with, that I'm like, my baby has a soul now, and I want everybody to be here, and my baby has a soul, and let's sit around in a circle. And it was beautiful. You know what I mean? It was beautiful. And then after we twerked and whatever. But you got on the plane for me, all that kind of stuff. And I just feel like, sometimes I wonder, like, because you give so much. So I wonder if I'm refilling you in any way, because it was like that. And then I was depressed postpartum.
Yeah.
And then I'm back in the States and I'm broke and I'm postpartum and whatever. So I just wonder, do you feel like I'm filling you?
Yeah. And I think that you have to remember that I don't need to be filled the way that I feel.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the way that I receive is not going to be the way that I give all the time.
Got you.
Sometimes me just talking to you and being like, okay, I have this going on. And you be like, bitch, ask for more. Yeah. Bitch, tell them the fuck no.
You got to be thinking big, bitch.
Like, even like, no matter what we talk about, even last night when I was like, bitch, we going to pray before every episode, because fuck that. We're not going to be like none of these other bitches. We going to stay friends for, no matter what. And we going to lock in. So let's pray a prayer of protection over us, because, if we become millionaires, or you was like, when, when, like, you just kept correcting me, like, when these things happen, this is what will happen.
Okay, so I put a battery in your back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how it's been from the beginning, though.
Okay.
The way, I don't need to show up for you that way.
Okay.
You know what I'm
saying? But I want to let you know that, like, we're going to make a bunch of money together. Okay. We're going to make a bunch of money separately. I'm going to be exceptionally wealthy by the grace of God, and I'm gonna make sure that you have everything you need all the time, because that's how I like to show up.
And I believe you, and I appreciate that.
And you should, because I'm telling the truth.
We have both created luxurious experiences for each other.
We have.
Because it's like, bitch, if I'm doing it, you doing it too. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
You low key my baby daddy.
Okay, pack a bag. Look, pack a bag or whatever. And you swear you're the man in a relationship.
I am the man in the relationship.
Mo, you're 5 foot soaking wet. How tall are you, Mo?
Okay, so we're getting into our next topics.
Okay.
So we're getting into our next topics, and we want to make sure we stay on task. Believe it or not, guys, I'm the type A in the relationship, and I have the notes here, and I want to make sure we stay on tag. So I want to talk a little bit about like some of our core values, just for like a minute. Like, we talked last night, and we said that, like, number one, we always want to be honest and transparent with y'all, right? That's first and foremost. And anything else that you want to think about? But that's the standard. Like, we know that.
Yeah, we said that we wanted to honor ourselves and our guests. Mm-hmm. So that if we do have people on the podcast, we want to make sure they feel comfortable. We want to make sure we feed you the food that you like.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that if you're uncomfortable with something, that we address it, and we're not making. I just feel like we're not mean girls. Mm-mm. We're girls. So in any situation, we're not coming on any platform to get views based off of making someone else look bad, whether it be each other or anybody everybody else.
Love that.
So at any point in time that this gets uncomfortable for you, let me know, and let's rewind that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big one that we had.
Yeah, and then we discussed some personal things we like didn't want to share, even in the alignment of transparency. And then this is a big one.
Yeah.
We are both mothers. And although we're going to get ratchet, raunchy, all of the things in here, it's just this is not your graphic detail, give you the detail of all the things. There are other places for that. But I want my son to be able to watch this one day and laugh and be like, Mommy was a real one. Not Mommy was a bop. And I don't even believe in a bop. You get what I mean? But it's just certain things that I want to move as a woman of God and like a woman of excellence. And there's just some shit that's none of your business.
Right.
So those are our main core values. We keep it a buck.
Yeah.
We keep it classy. We keep it cute.
Oh, wait. And we said we want to hold each other accountable the way that we do off camera.
Yes.
So if there's a moment that hold on, bitch. I don't remember it like that. You was out here.
We be holding each other accountable, hard body.
Hard. And we recover from it. We've had moments where we're like, all right, bitch, I ain't fucking need to hear that shit right now, though.
It was real annoying, yeah. Like when I broke up with the guy and I was like, I'm finally done. And you were like, all right, bitch, you can't be showing up and just like sleeping with him good and loving him good and doing this stuff good if you don't really want to be there like that because he gonna crash out and he gonna get upset.
And did.
That's another episode.
But we wanted to make sure that we held each other accountable the way we do off camera, because we both are here because our relatability has led us to individuals following our relatability.
Yes.
So what would be the point of making a podcast where we then take away that? Like authenticity. We literally had a conversation like, okay, what are we not going to say? Nothing. You know what I mean? When it comes to like our true personalities, this is who we are. And we want to show up exactly how we are so that we can really show that authenticity and relatability that we always have.
I love that for us.
Me too.
So I woke up this morning to a DM from a girl. And it was, first of all, like planning for our podcast is pretty much me. To work with me, you got to have thick skin. So God bless you.
I'm working on it.
I know. Thank you. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
I'm sensitive about my shit.
So she hits me like, I think we need to really ground it in nursing. And as I told you guys before, I worked really hard to get myself out of the box.
So last night we're on the phone and I'm like, Mo, what do you want to talk about? She gives me a list. I said, okay, well, you know the nursing got to be in there, right, Stink? And she like, oh, well, I really don't want to talk about. I said, Mo, we are nurses. We both got our platform from becoming nurses. You cannot just leave that out just because. I don't know why, because you just can't leave that out.
I think it's because of my trauma of being the black nurse.
Yeah.
And during that time period, I had to be very buttoned up, suit, like not curse, like cover tattoos. To be accepted.
Right.
And there were white nurses in the space that could do all those things.
Right.
And I couldn't. So when I broke out of that, I really was like, oh, I can be myself,
But detached from that.
Yeah,
right.
but detached. So I had to detach from that. But needless to say, I told her talking about nursing sucked and I didn't want to do it. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, hey, you remember how I said that I didn't want to do that? Yeah, I slept and I ate a snack and I decided that I do want to do that. In fact, I do want to do that.
Today, actually.
Today. Change the whole plans. And so that is what working with Monique Dowdy, Nurse Mo, is like. This sucks. This is bullshit. By the way, I'm sorry, but I'm accountable.
I'm sorry that what I said when I was sleepy and hungry.
I was really tired. I was tired. Okay, so I woke up this morning, right?
Okay.
And I get a message from this girl, and it's in my DM. And I'm not going to read it because I don't want to accountability girl thing like that. But she asked me if I could, in DM, if I could train her in aesthetics. And she got a nice, classy read because it just was an education.
Wait, but more, she wasn't a nurse yet.
And she was not a nurse yet.
Right.
She had a bachelor's degree in science, but no nursing degree. And she didn't know if she should get it or not. ChatGPT could have answered that question for her in 0.13 seconds. A millisecond.
Okay.
Like it could have, I don't know the math. Yeah, millisecond.
Okay.
So it could have answered that for her and that. But instead, she wrote a message to my DM. And it's not to shame her or shade her or anything. It just shows me that the culture of everything is so different. And I really think it's imperative that we break down the grit. because, it's the God in me, that song? But people don't know what you had to go through to get where you are, and social media makes everything look cute. And I think it's important for us to discuss where we are now in nursing, not even as influencers, as nurses, what made us what our journey was.
Okay. And just to hit what you were saying, just one little snippet is that I want people to understand that when you're going into nursing, you should expect to be a nurse. You should not get into nursing with the intentions of doing other things first. Those things may come, businesses may come, other education may come, opportunities may come, fame may come. But at first, you should expect to be a nurse and kind of, ad lib, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, these people that you see that are walking around with Chanel bags and Stanley cups and the cute headbands and shit, that's cute or whatever, but that's not necessarily where people are in the beginning. That's number one.
It's also 1 millisecond of their day. They don't show the rectal tubes they had to insert.
Right. You don't know what it is behind it. And we can't record that. So duh. So it's like you have to keep in mind that like those people are not showing you the full scope of nursing. And if you're looking at someone like I Am Nurse Mo, she has a plethora. Like you have a huge base of people that follow you based on how you were as a nurse back then. You have to understand that some people, right, they worked very hard to remove themselves to a certain extent from the bedside. That's one. Work. Okay? Then there's effort.
Número uno es de trabajar.
Okay? And effort. Okay? And then we have some people just have talent or some type of special factor that takes them to another level.
Y bendiciones.
That doesn't mean that you're gonna get there. It doesn't mean, and you special in your own right, sis, period. But it doesn't mean that you're gonna get to that point, okay? And it's just, and then some people are just lucky. Some people are just lucky. They go viral, something happens, and whatever. But the point is that you should go into nursing understanding what nursing is. I am going into nursing to take care of people, and I'm gonna get a bag while I'm doing it. Okay. Exactly. I have a secure, great career as a nurse, and we both went into it to be nurses and secure a very secure income no matter where we flew to. That was the goal. Okay. And the rest that happened after that is great. Okay. Mo worked really long and hard on how she became an influencer, and we just have to keep that in mind. I'm it's getting kind of like creepy a little bit how people are coming into nursing swearing that they're gonna be travel nurses making 10 grand a month, and it's like, baby,
do you think that's my fault for making it glamorous? I'm just curious. Like, I'm gonna in the comments. Really, do y'all think that I created an unrealistic point of view? Did I not show you? Because I am the first Black female influencer, nurse influencer, okay. Right? We've established that I am that girl, right?
Okay.
Katie
period.
Duke's the first.
Say it with your chest.
Katie Duke is the first nursing influencer, right? And she was working in NYP hospital. Like, literally. She got fired from her job for posting.
That crime, that scene.
A scene that somebody would go viral for right now. And, like, I hope they ran her up after that for firing her. Like, now. Because that's crazy.
Right.
So, I'm just curious. Like, in the comments, please let me know if I gave you guys an unrealistic point of view when I was coming up and I was showing you my OGs. Tap in. Yeah. Let me know.
See, I don't know. As someone who was following you back then before I knew you, I don't really feel that way.
You was following me before you knew me? Mm-hmm. Okay, cute.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think that can be on you because I feel like it took too much time. Like you had your experience, but now you have just random girls, like just people that are nurses walking around talking about how much money they make in their Chanel bags. I think that's different.
Oh no, it was different. Yeah. I talked about failing my NCLEX and my CR. Like,
right, you gave what you were going through.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so but still tap in. Let me know.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking them. Girl, walk with your Chanel bag. The fuck, like you earned it. But that's just not the clear picture of nursing. That's all I'm saying.
It's not the realistic. So give me a clear picture, the Cliff Notes version of what you went through and like what your experience was as a nurse and where you are now just in nursing outside of being an influencer.
So first of all, I have 2 degrees. My first degree is in Spanish. Yes, I was fluent. No, I'm not anymore. Don't ask me how. Okay. My second degree is in nursing. I went to Drexel for an accelerated program that I almost died from. Okay. It was actually a diagnosis.
Run it back. You didn't speak any Spanish in Costa Rica, like not even un jugo para mí.
I did a little bit.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I used to be completely fluent in Spanish. To graduate with your bachelor's, you have to be because your classes are entirely in Spanish. They don't speak to you in English at all.
Okay, so we got to do a bilingual podcast.
I'm gonna get it back. At the
Okay.
time, I was working at Red Lobster, and the whole kitchen was Ecuadorian, so it was easier.
Yummy.
But now it's hard because soon as I became a nurse, nobody was Spanish. Philly is so segregated. When I worked at Heinemann, no Spanish nurses or people was there for me to talk to. Anyway, so I got my second degree from the Drexel Accelerated Program. It felt like being hazed. It was very intense. A 11-month bachelor's degree in nursing is insane. Yeah, it felt like being hazed. Anyway, I graduated from there. I became a nurse. I had a job before I did my NCLEX, okay? Because period. A girl was never going to be without a job, okay? I started at Heinemann. I worked there in med-surg. My goal was to be a labor and delivery nurse, but what I didn't know is that it's very hard to get a job as an L&D nurse in certain places if you are Black. And I didn't know that. So my goal was to get there, but I just never got there. And when I realized that it was, when other nurses was like, girl, they ain't going to hire you Black, I was like, I ain't know that. Why you ain't tell me that? So it hurt my feelings, but I moved on. I've been med-surg tele. I've worked in liver and lung transplant. I've worked at all the hospitals in Philadelphia that people know about. And I've always worked per diem, usually in and out, but I always work per diem on call. That basically means that I make my own schedule. I come in when I want to, and I tell them when I'm coming in. And I worked as a travel nurse. I worked as a nurse case manager in home care. Girl.
Love it. And then what is your core specialty?
Med-surg tele.
Okay.
Yeah. But I've worked pretty much all of it because I've been per diem most of my career. So I've worked in ortho. I've worked in, any type of like ENT. I've worked with women's health. I've worked in postpartum. Like I've worked in it all because of being per diem. They send me wherever they want.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So what was your least favorite and most favorite?
You're going to be mad.
What?
I don't like them brain patients like that.
You don't like my neuro babies?
No,
you know I'm a science girl.
I know, but they be tripping a little bit. Them girl, you know,
honey, their brains are literally bleeding.
Know brain met patients be tripping. Girl,
watch your mouth.
Okay, all right.
Those are my babies.
I know,
my
but
little
they be
psychotic
trying to
baby.
fight a little bit. They get a little rough. So I mean,
4 points.
Okay, and my least favorite. My least favorite is the ER. The ER
I don't like the ER.
Is the wild, wild west.
I'm not doing it.
It's very unprotected. I'm good. I'm good out on that. And I had no. It's just a no. You never know what's coming in. You're by yourself. It's very unorganized.
I don't do it.
Yeah,
it's not for me.
My most favorite, honestly, anything where I can be around people that look like me and I can support them.
I love that.
Yeah. So it hasn't. I don't really have a favorite specialty, but
have you done behavioral health yet?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Psych doesn't really bother me. I mean, I don't like being a lockdown unit. But other than that, I like psych.
Okay, cool. And so what are you currently doing now in nursing? Are you still practicing? Are you only a nurse influencer buying Chanel bags?
I wish. I haven't told my followers yet, but I actually have been teaching LPN students.
These are the luckiest students in the world. They're blessed. You. Yeah, I would love to be your student.
And I actually love teaching. I love it. And it's really sweet. And they're like so, it's just a beautiful experience to be able to mentor someone as someone who looks like them. That people don't understand how big that is. Like to be taught by people who don't look like you, you feel like you're being taught a foreign experience. But for them to hear how I went through it and how I advocated for myself and me giving them tough love is different than someone else giving them tough love. So I love that. And I also still work as a med-surg tele nurse in the city.
Okay, love that.
Okay. So now you. Okay. So tell me where you went to school.
So first of all, do you know how dope you are?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next time I'm gonna have rose petals for you so that I can throw them at you.
Oh,
you deserve
you're
it.
So sweet.
Or money.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Okay,
You're gonna be like my little. You my baby dad for real.
I am. I've been trying to date you for years and you just won't do it.
No, come on.
Okay. All right.
Come back.
Okay. So my history is I went to the illustrious Hampton University.
Okay.
And at Hampton, I was kind of a different nursing student. It did take me 5 years to graduate, and I'm always really transparent with that. Well, 4.5, but I did graduate with a 3.7 GPA.
I know that's the fuck right.
I did. It took me a lot of time, but the teachers were mean. There, it was a lot of hazing. They told me that. I was really into fashion, and I planned.
They was hating on you. You told me some of them stories. They was hating on you.
I don't like the hater word.
Girl, a hater is a hater.
Okay, they were hating on me as per my mom. My mom had to come there, but I was a fashion girl when I was in school because those girls were suburban and had money, and I was from the hood and I knew how to dress. I could fuck it up. Right now, currently, I'm wearing Target and YSL. And like,
fucking it up.
And then fucking it up.
And fucking it up.
And so I've always like when I first went to Hampton, I was like overwhelmed because I was like the poor kid compared to like I didn't know that I was the poor kid because like Al Sharpton's daughter lived in my dorm. Like that's the level of wealth and opulence. So needless to say, I didn't really fit in to that community there initially, but I found myself in the fashion space at school. So I planned all the fashion shows, but I also was a nursing student, and they were kind of like pick a lane. So I think that's where my trauma started. Oh my gosh, I just realized where my trauma started. So my trauma started when they were like pick a lane, right? And so in nursing school, they told me that I was really cute, really smart, really bubbly, and good with the patients, but I should pick another career because I would never be a nurse. And that was kind of like what permeated.
Don't you hate when people tell you what you're going to do?
Yeah, but I like it because I'm the kind of person that if you tell me I'm not going to do something, I want to do it more. Because it's the Aries in me. Yeah, it's the Aries in me.
But all you got to do is tell us what we not. What
and
we
so
can't
I did
do.
it. So I did it. I graduated. Right. It took me an extra semester. I went to Atlanta after college, and I wasn't really ready to start practicing nursing yet. So I was a bartender, and I used to make so much money. I was like a bartender. Yeah. And I made a lot of money as a bartender because I'm good at math. So I would triple the price of the bottles and not tell people. And I just was a hustler. Like I was always a hustler. I worked at Hooters in college, paid a lot of my tuition on my own. So I was really a lot different than what I was around, and I loved it. Like I just liked being in my own wave. So needless to say, I got out of school, went to Atlanta, worked as a bartender, failed my NCLEX not once, not twice. And it was not because I wasn't smart. It was because I was going out with niggas with gold teeth, riding around in Cadillacs, in Escalades, going to the strip club, throwing money, living my best 23-year-old life, listening to Future, standing on couches. It was a motherfucking time to be alive. Okay, hold on. Flashback. Reel it in. Finally decided to get it together.
All I keep thinking of, smile for me, daddy.
What you looking at? No, but I mean, it was that, y'all remember that time period. It was Jeezy. Yeah. Like, it was the Jeezy time period.
It was smile for me, daddy. It
was rappers. And I had Instagram. That was right around the time Instagram popped. And there was rappers, athletes, and scammers in my DM. And I was having a good time. Mm-hmm. And then,
as you should.
I know.
That's what it's
and
for.
Like, honestly, I encourage girls in their 20s to get that out the way because don't nobody want to be 35, 42 doing that. So needless to say, my aunt sat me down and was like, you not passing this NCLEX. And I'm gaslighting everybody around me. Like, I don't know why I keep failing it. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know. And it's like, I see your Instagram, baby. You living a
You outside.
You outside. And I didn't care because I was making $1,000 a night, so I didn't care. You know what I mean? So finally I buckled down and I took Kaplan NCLEX. And I ended up later on, full circle moment, being an influencer for Kaplan.
Nice.
And you know how I am. I'm whatever task, big or small, do it well or not at all. So I really had to prepare. I went in the class, not that virtual. I went in the class and raised my hand. Like, had to raise my hand, take notes, do all the things. And not first, but third time I passed my NCLEX.
Okay.
While I was studying to pass my NCLEX, I took on a job as a CNA. I worked as a CNA with a $103,000 BSN degree. I worked as a CNA. Do you hear me? I had a BSN degree and I worked as a CNA. I did it proudly. I was really happy to do it. I loved it. And I still worked as a bartender because I wasn't getting that money up and you know what I mean, whatever. But it was embarrassing because my first job, the first couple months of the job, I failed my NCLEX. And then the second time, it was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I mean, well, second time I took it, I failed because I was still partying, doing all the things. And then when I decided to lock in and really bet on myself and take the Kaplan class and invest $500 of my own money to take the class, I passed.
Okay.
And it was one of the best feelings ever. And I was working renal telemetry med surge.
Where? It's still in
Atlanta.
Okay.
But Wellstar Cobb Hospital was my first job.
Okay.
And I had a black nurse manager, which was really amazing. I did get hired by her mainly because she was my auntie's friend.
Okay.
And I did use what I knew because it was hard to get in. But I got hired as a CNA first, and then as soon as I passed my boards, I got a job as an RN there.
Okay.
And I still bartended. But then one time somebody was talking to me crazy at work, and I was like, nigga, I'm a whole RN-BSN. I'm fucking done with this job and got the fuck on. And so that's how that I transitioned out of that. And then it just kind of, after that, like I was there for about 6 months. Well, 1 year. And I was like, I want to challenge myself. I need to do the hardest job I can possibly do because I want to be a travel nurse.
Right.
My initial plan was to be a travel nurse in the Navy. Like that's what I wanted to, in the Air Force. But like, no, because like if there's like a war, like... You know, like you can't like...
People don't be talking about that. They be going to, like, yeah, I'm going to be in the Navy. Bitch, what if we go to war?
I want to be in the Air Force. And then I was really like, I really am all about like peace and love. So like, no, you know what I mean? Also, there was like a few other things that I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out for me. So needless to say, I went to Grady Memorial Hospital, the #1 level 1 trauma center in Atlanta. And it was trill. This hospital really invested in the technology because it was kind of like if you get into a car accident, if you got shot, if you got into a plane crash, whatever, you were getting airlifted to Grady. So a lot of celebrities, people like that, like really invested money in there. However, I was making $23 an hour running CRT. I was 95 pounds. As 95 pounds was the hardest job I ever did in my life. It broke me down mentally, physically, all of it, and it made me smart as fuck. Like, it was really hard, and I got hazed real bad by the nurses there. They really eat their young. They were so mean, like, so mean. They'd be like, are you dumb? In the middle of a cold. Like, I'm trying to save this man's life. Like,
I'm fighting for my life with him. Like,
I remember I had a patient self-extubate, and they were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why wasn't he restrained? And I'm like, bitch, can we just fucking run the code?
Can we fix it?
Can we talk about it after? But needless to say, I spent time there, and that wrote my ticket.
Okay.
So I did 2 years there, and I had a contract there for 2 years. And literally on the last day of the 2 years, I was like, I'm out. Like, I was like, it's time for me to go. And I started travel nursing.
Nice.
So my first travel assignment was in Las Vegas because I was waiting for California. And then I did California, Texas, Nevada. Vegas, California, all of California. And then I did the UCLAs, the USCs, every area of ICU I did.
Okay.
Because after working at Grady, they said you can go anywhere. From that point on, for the next 7 years of my career, any employer that looked at my resume said, oh, you work there? You good.
You're hired.
You're hired. I never got turned down for a job for anything because of Grady. So I worked everywhere from Cedars-Sinai to UCLA, UCSF, and I found a love for brain. I worked neurosurgical critical care. I loved working with neurosurgeons. They were really aggressive and sassy, and I loved that shit.
They are.
They're crazy, and like I loved it.
They don't fuck around.
They don't fuck around, and I don't fuck around. So I liked it because I had a lot of control, and life is not something you have control in. So that gave me control. There's a fix for everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the ICP's high, open the drain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, the hemoglobin's low, let's run some blood. Right. So needless to say, like that's what I did in my career. 2019 was my last travel assignment. And I left due to some disparities amongst like how the African American community is treated.
We're going to have a whole episode on that.
Yeah, we're going to have an episode on that. But there was basically like a pain control issue, and I didn't like the way my black male patient was being treated. One of my contracts was up. I had 3 retreats going on in Bali, 2 in Africa. I was like, my influencer career was really popping at the time, and I just was like, I don't need to do this anymore. So my boss was black. I always loved trying to find black people to work when I was like, look, I can't do this. This is effective immediately, and this is 2 weeks notice. Which one you want to do? And she was like, I know you want to leave. And I said, take immediately. And so after that, I left, and I took a 5-year hiatus.
5.
I did not plan. Like, you can go back to my Instagram from April of 2019, and I said, I'll be back around June. And I came back last year in home care. They got 3 months for me. Get somebody else to do it on Kensington and Allegheny. Get somebody else to do it. I paid.
You on the phone, and she like, girl, they got me with this wound vac. Fuck am I supposed to do with that?
I've paid my dues. And I tried, and then I found aesthetics. So currently, I'm a new aesthetics nurse. I'm breaking my way into a very gate-kept white industry and kicking down doors and busting heads, And I plan in the next couple years to be a PRP expert in a functional medicine and functional aesthetics, using your own body to make you feel beautiful. So that's my nursing journey. It's a long, drawn out one. Aesthetics has really been the space where it makes me feel smart and pretty. I don't know how to explain it. So needless to say, I was super offended when a woman slid in my DM and asked me to train her because she thought it was cute that I just do lips all day, but I paralyze the muscles in the face. I have to have a high level of understanding of the anatomy and physiology of the face. Do you hear me? The face. So I take pride in what I do. I love what I do. I love being a nurse. I got into it because I wanted a stable, sustainable job for the rest of my life, and I got one. So much that I was able to take such a big hiatus and still come back to, to be able to do something. And now I just know that the hospital no longer serves me, and that's not an option for me. That organized healthcare system is not an option for me, and that's where I'm at with nursing.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of it. I think that nursing is, you can keep reinventing yourself, keep trying new things. And I'm really proud of you for how you've worked through it and always made it enough.
It's going to be enough regardless.
Okay.
It's going to be enough regardless.
And with that being said, now that we talked about our medical degrees and how we got here, let's take a second for our 7 medical minutes.
Yes.
All right, guys. So for today's 7 medical minutes, we would love to talk about nurse practitioners and why we have chose nurse practitioners for most of our healthcare needs. So, okay, what's a nurse practitioner?
A nurse practitioner is a master's or doctorate degree level prepared provider that can prescribe medication, consult patients, and treat patients.
Okay. So, as for me, I use an NP for everything.
Same.
First of all, my son's primary care provider is an NP. My primary care provider is an NP. And my OBGYN care is by an NP. And my son was delivered by a midwife. Okay? Like, I don't play, okay?
Yeah.
The only person I couldn't replace yet is my endocrinologist. But, like, other than that, everybody is an NP. I know you have the...
Wait. You have thyroid issues or
hyperthyroid?
Okay, hyper.
I haven't been able to. They're more scarce.
Okay, so are you on levothyroxine?
No, I'm on methimazole.
Okay.
All right, so now that we're here, medical minutes. Okay.
Sorry, not me.
Medical minutes. Do you want to know the dose?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. 75 mics.
Okay, we're back. Okay. All right. So me personally, the reason why I have been more drawn to NPs is because I feel like NPs, there's always more conversation. It's not just like, oh, this is what's wrong with you. Okay, take this pill, shut up. With NPs, I always feel like they're like trying to talk to you. They're trying to ask you questions. Like when I went to my NP and I was like, listen, I don't have any more milk left. My son's 1.5 years, but I also don't want to do cow's milk. She's like, well, what are you giving him now? I said, sometimes I supplement with coconut milk. She's like, okay, add almond milk. He's good to go. He's gaining weight. You're good.
And you taught me that after that.
Yeah. But NPs, it's like a conversation. Oh, I'm having this problem. I'm having that problem. They'd be like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas I feel like with doctors, and no, this is no bashing of doctors, just stating why we are choosing NPs is because I feel like there's more conversation.
So for me, nurse practitioners, I think it's just the nurse part. I think nurses take a little bit more care in things and they're a little bit gentler. Additionally, they spend more time with you because they have more time. In the healthcare field, we're doing the best that we can with the tools and resources provided. So a lot of times you may be mad at your doctor or your nurse in the hospital or outside of the hospital or in the office or whatever it may be, and it's really a systemic issue.
Yeah.
Nurses have a little bit more time. Doctors have the least amount of time.
Yeah.
NPs kind of lie somewhere in the middle. My women's health doctor is definitely a nurse practitioner. Mainly because she asked me questions like, have you ever experienced sexual abuse? Like, when has it done? And no shade to the doctors, but this is shady. My OBGYN, male OBGYN, who I had to get in with, suggested that I get on birth control, a pill, right? And I was there for an IUD. And he said, well, birth control doesn't really have side effects at all. And I said, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck are you? Seriously? How dare you, man, tell me that birth control has no side effects? There's literally 112 side effects on every...
Including death.
Including death and blood clots. And the feelings of impending doom. That's a side effect. Impending doom.
Just throw the whole situation
thing away. But when I went to my nurse practitioner for my annual... She talked to me about my diet, and she even asked me about why I gave birth in Costa Rica. She bigged me up for that and said, "Good for you for taking advocacy over your health." So I'm a fan of nurse practitioners. I love doctors, and there's things we need doctors for. Like in Pennsylvania, you need a doctor as a medical director for a med spa.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to go to an injector to get my face done, because I do get Botox, you can't tell right now because I got way too much movement going on. But I'm going to go to a nurse because nurses do things like tap while they're injecting you. They're really mindful, very demure. And I just think it's an overall slower experience because they have more time. So I think that that's something to consider when you are choosing a primary doctor. It doesn't have to be a physician. It can be a nurse practitioner.
Yeah. And it's kind of like nurses have that nurturing spirit, but also that very, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat spirit. Like, they listen to you and they're like, let's try this. Let's do this. Like, and even when, because nurse practitioners can also work in the hospital setting. And we have nurse practitioners that work in the ER and everything like that. And they do some of the very same things the doctors do. But not everything. And even when I'm talking to them and we're talking about a patient, it's just more of a conversation. They want to know, okay, like what happened? How did it happen? Okay, did you try this? Can we try this next? It's a lot more of holistic medicine being brought in and behavioral things that can be changed versus just medications, just surgery, just numbers and stats,
I'd also like to note that nurse practitioners have to be a nurse first.
Right.
And
for years.
For a couple years. Well, these new ones, it might be a little different. These new girls are going
depending on what type of field type of specialty you go into, you have to practice as a nurse for a certain amount of time first.
For sure. And one of the things that I remember from working in the ICU for many years was that every July we'd get brand new doctors. And it was a shit show because these doctors had never 8 years of med school, had never touched a patient, ever. And they were a mess, a mess. And I think about it, and I think about the amount of experience that a nurse practitioner has to have with touching patients, not with actual logical education. So it's just an overall, in my opinion, a better experience.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are out there that are looking for a primary care doctor or looking for the next person to treat you for OB,
for maternal health, for, I guess we can say, for women's health, for primary care medicine.
Or pediatrics.
Pediatrics.
We highly recommend considering a nurse practitioner. Shout out to all the nurse practitioners out there and all that you do. We love you. We appreciate you. We see you and we value you and we support you.
Okay, you're doing the Lord's work, girlfriend. Thank you. And for the men's too.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all. So, me and Mo have been heavily into prayer and we just want to share that part of us with you. So, Mo, take us away.
So I want to read a scripture from Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. So I wrote a little something about the scripture. This scripture reminds me that abundance isn't about quantity, but about quality. It's about being so rooted in trust that I know without a doubt that I am held and cared for. My child and I, we are provided for. My friend and I, we are provided for simply because we have chosen to honor God in our lives, and that's what truly matters. So to the women and men out there, I encourage you to rest in knowing that you don't have to exhaust yourself to provide for yourselves or your children. Rest in the truth that what you're doing by honoring God, that it's enough. Provision is more than income. It's also peace. It's also presence. And it's about what you give. So, dear God, I ask you with a bold, unshakable heart, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I could do if I wanted to. But please, let me live this life I've chosen and let it be enough by honoring you and your will. The moments that I spend with my child, with my friends, with my artistry, let that peace and joy be enough. God, do your magic and make it enough. God, do your magic and make it enough. Amen.
Amen. Okay. This has been the first episode of Make It Enough podcast with Mo and Sheena. And I really just want to say, girl, we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
God did it. We
God did it. God did it. He used us as a vessel.
Yes.
Okay. So we want to, first of all, it's now y'all turn. Okay. We really want to invite you to email us at makeitenoughpodcast@gmail.com. Enough is spelled ENUF. Tell us your stories. If you have a dating question, a romance question, a nurse question, if you just have a comment, tell us. We would love to hear from you, and we'll feature some of those comments in our next episode.
It can literally be about anything, and we'll make it enough. We love you.
Thanks, guys.